Rodney, would you like to say the opening prayer this morning?
Sure.
Okay.
Father Sky, Mother Earth, all our ancestors and all our relatives, we thank you so very, very much for this opportunity to step inside this most sacred circle. I ask this time, Most High, that you open our hearts to this message we're about to receive. And I ask that you help us to apply these words and not just hear these words. We thank you for this opportunity to be with our friends, our elders, and our mentors. We ask that you guide us in a good way and you speak powerfully through Shahowin. We love you. We thank you. With that, I say, aho. Song?
Yes.
All right.
You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round, and you can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Move mountains, we gon' walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, I like the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. The silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet. Move mountains, bring it to its feet. Move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. That we have each other, and for that we have each other, and we will rise, we will rise, we'll rise, we'll rise. I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I will rise 1,000 times again. And we'll rise up, I like the waves. We'll rise up, in spite of the ache. We'll rise up, and we'll do it 1,000 times again. You
Beautiful, thank you.
I thought y'all would like that song, and the reason why I picked that is, you know, we talk about how to move energy and stuff, and people that have hearing difficulties are always moving energy when they're doing sign language, and to see them like sing that song, for me that was quite amazing, because you could actually feel the energy rising up with each movement that they were doing with their hands, and you could actually feel what was coming from their heart. And this is part of the lessons that, you know, that I'm trying to show to others, that you can feel energy in many different forms. That is unconditional love. You just have to know how to look for it and see it. And that was a reputation of it. You know, all those kids were singing for us today, and for many, many other people that happen upon their page, you know, on YouTube, where they're singing that song. And Rising Up, the song they sung was Rising Up. Each one of us does that every day. We rise up, and hopefully we rise up at the starting of the day when the sun's coming up. Like I said, you know how important it is to see the sun rise and leave the oldness behind, because the sun is a new day. And to be present in the moment of today, and not in the moment of the past or the future. Energy is very important to understand, and it's around us 24/7. And there's so many signs to look for to see that things are changing, even when we're having the worst days that you can imagine. You know, a lot of us, and that includes me, you know, have days that we just feel like we're carrying the world on our shoulders. And how much longer do we have to continue feeling like this before something changes? And I want y'all to know, energy changes. It doesn't stay the same. We can help move the energy by the way we think, the way we carry ourselves, and also in the movements that we do. So if you're not feeling well, go out, stand on Mother Earth barefooted. You know, sit on her, talk to her, talk to the trees. There's a lot of ways to change your energy that you're feeling. And does it always go away immediately? No. That's because we're in a human body. And you have to have hope. You know, you have to have faith too. You have to bring all of that within to your body. You know, joy. Be joyful. Sometimes that's very hard to do when you're having a bad day, or when too much interference, and I call it interference from the outside world, comes into your world. So when you start recognizing the outside influences coming into your world, you can go back and back up a little bit and close it off so it doesn't affect you as bad. When you can understand that you don't have no control over it, you can't change it. You can't change another person. The only person you can change is yourself and how you feel about things. Then you're doing and learning what you need to do about loving yourself. Because we have no control over nobody else. We have no control over what's going on in another country. But there's big changes coming. There's huge changes because there's a lot of us that are standing up and we're helping push this energy and clear the energy off of Mother Earth. Right now, there's a lot of ceremonies going on, a lot of dancing going on. There was 44 women this weekend that did ceremony in Alabama to help push the energy and send out unconditional love energy and forgiveness, to everything, to push all this stagnant energy that's been, hitting us and bearing us down. But that's not the only group that's been doing it. It's happening all over the world. And if you can recognize it, you can understand that things are changing. So I don't know if y'all have saw the stuff that's going on in Iran. That's a part of this change too. Where the young girl got killed because she wasn't wearing her whatever the hat part correctly. But the women stood up for her and took their scarves off and burned them. Some of them cut their hair. Being native, cutting your hair is a very symbolic thing for death and rebirth of changes coming. So there's a lot of change happening around the world that we're not paying attention to. Some of us are not aware of it, others are. The ones that are helping push an energy wave of unconditional love, forgiveness, because all of this runs in a circle. Like I was telling you, we are all connected whether we want to believe it or not. And the circle will come back together. And that's part of the healing of the sacred hoop. And it's really taking place right now, whether we're aware of it or not. But for the ones that aren't aware of it, the best advice that I can share with you is to take it one step at a time within inside yourself. Find that loving spot inside yourself and bring joy into it. Bring forgiveness for feeling the way that you feel. And go a little bit easier on yourself. Don't beat yourself up, because we like to do that. We all like to beat ourselves up and feel like we're inadequate or unworthy of things, but we are worthy of everything. We're part of Creator. We're Creator's children. And the reason why we experience some of this stuff is so that we can recognize that we are God's child. And once you realize that, things really start changing for you. And another thing about the energy that will help you too is if you find yourself coming against stuff and every time it feels like you're hitting a brick wall, then you need to stop and ask yourself what you can do to change it, because that's a sign stating that you're not doing it through Creator's will, you're doing it through your egoic will. That's why it's so hard, because when you're doing it through spirit, it falls into alignment. And it's kind of, some people have referred to it as like taking a zipper and zipping it up, and all the T's in the zipper connect, and it just moves up very smooth. So if you find yourself up against obstacles that are hard, It could be that you have egoic thoughts and blockages in the midst of it that you should look at and change. Change your opinion and thoughts about to make that transition go a little bit smoother. Because it will once you change your thought process. Loving yourself is very hard, believe it or not. Finding the true way, your true authentic self, and how to love yourself is hard, and it comes with a lot of trials and tribulations, is what I call it. Trials and tribulations, because if you're in a pattern, especially if you have a family, and you start changing for the good of yourself, and other people in your family circle have let's just say come codependent on the way that you have been doing all this time, then they're going to fight you a little bit on that change that you're bringing about, because they're losing their energy that they were taking from you. And they're going to feel a loss in that energy pattern, and it's going to make them have to look to see how to refill their cup in a different way. And that's also when meditation and teaching them how to get out into Mother Earth and finding the energy patterns the proper way helps, if they are willing to listen to that. Some of them won't be. Some of them will fight you all the way. And when you do that, you have to just love them unconditionally and understand that their time of understanding will come, as long as you don't hold a judgment on them. Because if you create a judgment because of the way they're acting, then you blocked your own self from your true self and the way that you're trying to walk your path. It's very tricky. And sometimes I've had a lot of people come to me and say, this is just really too hard to do. Well, yes. I never claimed to tell you it was going to be easy, because it's not easy to find your true self. And nobody truly can help you find your true self except for you. And you have to go through all your demons. And some people call them demons. I call them, those are your skeletons in your closet that you don't want nobody to know that you're like that. So you don't want to pull them out, and you don't want people to see these skeletons in your closet. But guess what? We are human. And as a human being, we do make mistakes. But the biggest thing about it is when you make a mistake and you're trying to be your authentic self, and let's just say somebody comes and tells you, I just don't agree with what you're saying, then you need to look at it. When that happens to me, I ask them, well, tell me how you perceive it, so I can look at it, because maybe I'm missing something, because I want that information, because if I'm doing it wrong, I want to do it right for myself. And so I don't allow it to cause me to be angry at that person, because each one of us perceive things totally different. But the biggest key in finding your true self is communication. And you have to see the whole in everything. So people will perceive things differently. And if you can get that perspective and look at it for your own self to see what you see in it, it will help you. But most of the time we get mad because we feel like we've been judged. And that is the conditioning that we've been put through our whole lives. And the more you become your authentic self, you'll take that judgment out of the way, and you'll start looking at other people's opinions and find out what feels right for you, because you will know it. Your heart will let you know. You'll feel it within inside yourself, and you'll know. And if you're not doing it the proper way, then you'll change it, and you'll go back to that person and say, thank you so much for telling me that. And I'm going to really work on, not not doing it this way, because what you said hits me right in the heart. And that's how we communicate towards each other. And that's what will bring us into a family unit of a support system that all of us are looking for. There's no right and wrong. That's the biggest thing that we've been conditioned to believe there's a right and a wrong. We have to compete for everything. You don't have to compete for anything, because you are God's child. And you were put here to have that worthiness. That's your birthright, and the way you walk it is your choice and your free will. But we've been, like I said, we have been really suppressed and controlled in that pattern of submission. And once you learn how to break it, you'll slowly come out of it, and you'll actually start seeing the real true you, and how you want to be authentic. And the very first authenticity that you have to do is with yourself, because guess what? Your egoic self will lie to you. And you can be in self-denial. And that's a big one. Self-denial is huge. And I wouldn't be a bit surprised if I don't have some of that in myself. But when that self-denial comes up, I do take a look at it, and I go, oh, I'm in denial of this. I need to change this pattern. But you have to understand, we're human. This is what we've been taught, and we're unlearning a lot of the things that we've been taught and replacing it with very valuable, good information, so that we can become our authentic self and be in unconditional love for everything. And if you stop and think about it, how do you think the world would be if everybody held unconditional love in their heart? We wouldn't have any wars. We wouldn't have any disagreements, because we would have all learned how to communicate properly, so that everybody's needs would be met. And that's that is one of the biggest things, is these wars start because people's needs are not being met, or how they feel what they deserve they need. And most of that is on the egoic human self. But you can turn into your authentic self and be so much love for others, that when people meet you, they will want to know, how do you do this? How did you get here? And when that takes place within you, you have to, let them know. It took a lot of communication. It takes a lot of strength. It takes a lot of, looking at yourself. Are you really truly ready to look deep down into your darkest place within your soul? Because until you get there and get all those demons or those skeletons out of the closet, you'll just staying in self-denial. When you get all that out of your closet, that's when you start setting your priorities, okay, and setting boundaries. And you don't set these boundaries for other people, you set them for yourself. You set them for your ego self and your spiritual self so that they can come into balance with one another and work together. And what takes place after that is your egoic self and your spiritual self will actually start dancing together as a couple. And you'll start dancing the dance of life. And it's a very beautiful thing. But I tell you, it takes a long time to get there. And it takes a lot of hard work, and you do suffer and you do have pain through it. And sometimes you have to let go of people that were your friends for a long, long time that were not doing nothing but holding you back in a stuck energy pattern that you couldn't get out of. And you're wanting to become authentic. And the only way to do that is you have to leave them behind. And that's okay. Because you can still love them from afar. It doesn't mean you have to be right up there with them, but you can love them. You don't have to hate them. That's what it's all about, is love. Love and understanding that they're in their place where they're at this time to learn, just as you're in your place at this time to learn. It doesn't mean you're better than the other one because you're in a different place. That's not what it's about. That's ego. You know, that's patting yourself on the back. Oh, look at me. I've reached this stage of learning and they're so far behind me. Oh, that's all ego. They're where they're supposed to be. You're where you are supposed to be. And it's okay to talk to them and guide them. But guess what? Where they're at, even if they're 10 steps behind you, they might have some information that will help you on your pathway of where you're at today. And that's where the communication comes in. But before you can really communicate with anybody, you got to take all those labels and judgments and everything off of the table and get into an authentic place where you understand, hey, that's their path that they're on right now. You know, ask yourself, what can I do to help them if they need your help? Because don't interfere in their life by trying to pull them out of their pathway, because unless you've been guided there through spirit to do that. But guess what? If you're working on yourself to be authentic and an authentic person, you will learn that the only person you can fix is yourself. You can't fix anybody else. That comes from their own mind, inside their own body and heart. But you can be friends with them. You can talk to them. It's really a lot. It's really a lot to take in, you know, because I've had people within the family unit, you know, that some of the family unit is just not good. I have one in my family. He's always going to be where he's at. And when you get into your authentic self, you will realize that it's okay. Does it mean that you have to talk to him a lot? Not unless you want to, you know, but you can still love them from afar. But like, and I'll give you a better example. My brother's an alcoholic, and he's not going to change. He likes to drink. He likes that. And his thing is that, and this is his belief system, that when he drinks, he's his doorway's open where he can listen to spirit better. And that could be possible true. I don't know. I've never drank. I drank my first beer when I was 30 years old, okay? And I didn't like it. And that was because I came from an alcoholic family, and I just did not want to be like my family. So I chose not to do that. But he thinks he's really doing something good for Creator. It's not my place to come in and say you're doing it wrong. So I try not to do that to him. I just, when I talk to him, I tell him I love him. I hope he's doing good. But I just don't talk to him as much as I used to, even though I still love him. And that's what you'll find when you start becoming more authentic inside yourself, that you'll do a lot of prayers for them, and you'll drop little tidbits for them, hoping that they will catch it and change, because you can't make them change. They have to make that choice to change. But once they do, you'll start seeing it, and you won't even have to ask them, hey, are you not drinking anymore? Because you will start seeing the change without even them even having to tell you. And it goes back to what I was saying, energy moves all the time and is always changing. So don't give up on those types of people, because guess what? Eventually they will have to change with the energy. But there's always going to be a yin and the yang, because that's part of the laws of the universe, of this planetary system that we're on. In other planetary systems, it's not like that. But we will not experience that until after we cross over from this experience that we're having right now. So we have to work to learn how to balance. That's the main key, is learning how to stay in balance in the things that we are doing for ourselves today and for others that we love. And one of the biggest things is to learn how to come into unity with all things. Unity, balance, joy, and harmony. When we can do that, the sacred hoop that's been broken in this planetary system will start to heal and come back together. And it actually started with the family unit being broken down. And if we all realize where we're at today, a lot of the energy has already fixed the physical part of the humanitarian cycle, and we're working on the emotional part of it right now. And the emotional part is the hardest part, because like I said, when you think it, when you speak it out of your mouth, it goes up into the air. And guess what? If you're driving down the road shouting at the next person in front of you because they're going too slow, and you're calling them an idiot or whatever, because there's a lot of people that do this, that's going up into the air. And guess what? We're all feeling that heaviness. That's the heaviness that you feel in the psychic of the universal structure right now, is all those words that we have been putting out there. And guess what? They're swirling around, and they're going to hit each and every single one of us. That's why some days we feel like we're carrying the world upon our shoulders, because you're actually carrying all that energy that's been placed out there. And if you listen to the news, which I try not to do very often, all you get is negativity. There's not really anything on the news that brings you excitement anymore. It's all fear-based to keep you suppressed down and to show that everybody's fighting with one another. But truly in your heart, do you think everybody's fighting with one another? For me, I don't believe that. I think there's a lot of us coming together right now, even though it's very quiet and we don't see it. There's a lot of energy being moved where people are coming together in love and unity, and we're doing ceremonies and we're moving all this old yucky energy out of the way. And eventually this energy will disappear. If we continue to do these ceremonies, it's gonna go away. And I've talked about the second wave verse. That's what we're doing. That's the wave of energy going across the earth right now. And the third wave, when it comes, will be the younger generation picking up where we left off. But right now, when we're moving the energy, we're moving all the emotional garbage and the patterns and the cycles of the emotional self off of Mother Earth, off of ourselves. And that's a huge task. One person can't do it. So even though we're not seeing all the people that are doing this, trust me, it's being done. And we're connecting, by talking and communicating and having support teams, having classes like we're having here. And it's so that people can be in like-mindedness and help send out these energy waves to move this energy off of Mother Earth so that she can heal too, as we heal. But see, a lot of people don't realize Mother Earth can heal herself. But us humans, we need all of it. We need Mother Earth, we need Father Sky, we need the standing people, because it's all connected. For us to heal, we've got to understand that we connect to everything, even the smallest little animal that's crawling on the ground is a part of our family and has a purpose here. And if we remove it, then we are removing a part of the puzzle piece that we need to heal. That's why it's so important, to save the whales, to save the bees, because all that's very important. It's part of that connection. And spirit touches different people in different ways so that all this information can get out. But eventually all of us that have this information will connect as one unit and become a one big family to protect Mother Earth and protect ourselves. That's what we're working towards. And a lot of people don't understand that, but that is exactly what we're working for and working towards. But to get there, we have to work on ourselves first and find our authentic self. And I'm very proud of each and every one of y'all that are on this class, because these classes haven't been going on for a long period of time, but I see such huge change in each and every one of you when I talk to you. And I hope that y'all can see it, because I'm very proud of the work that y'all are doing on yourselves, because it's showing. I can see it. Spirit can see it. And it's just awesome. And I believe this class was made, I know it's a small class. It could be a really big class now, but I haven't even put this on my page, on my Facebook page. And it's not because I don't want other people coming to the class. It's really because I wanted the class to be small, and one day it won't be small, it'll be huge. But we need to make a core group of people that have already really worked on themselves to be strong to help teach the others that come to this class. It's just not about it's not just about me being the teacher. I'm the student too. And one day y'all will be teaching this class and telling your knowledge, what you have. You know, it's not about me, but y'all are the starting of the core group that will help support the others that come to this class. But first we have to all get on the same, you know, we have to work on ourselves. And that's a good thing. And I wanted to let y'all know that the next 2 Tuesdays I will not be here because I'm doing a ceremony to push some energy out in North Carolina. So I'm gonna be doing some native stuff. So we're gonna have a speaker that's gonna come in and speak, and guess who it's gonna be? It's gonna be Elizabeth. Okay. And she's gonna, I think she's gonna do a really good job. She's decided that she's going to talk about how to build a sweat lodge. And she's been working with sweat lodges for many years. And if she doesn't get it all done, then for both lessons, for both Tuesdays, they'll be talking about sweat lodges. But if she does get it done on the first Tuesday, then the second Tuesday she's going to talk about her vision quest and what it took for her to go on her vision quest, because there's a lot of time and effort that you put in to do in different ceremonies that a lot of people are not aware of, especially like if you go to a Sundance. It's not something that you just like say, like, let's just say you get asked 3 weeks before the Sundance, come to a Sundance. No. It don't work like that. You prepare for it for over a year or so. You prepare, you do a lot of stuff to prepare for it. So I think what Elizabeth will be talking about next week to y'all is going to be very interesting for y'all, and I think she's going to do a really good job. But like I was saying, this class is not just for me to be up here teaching. I hope each one of us will want to do and hold a class on Tuesday to share their knowledge, because that's how we're going to grow. Each one of us brings a piece of the puzzle for us to become a unit of support for others. So I want y'all to think about that, because that's what we're growing here, you know, as we're learning. And each one of y'all, you know, when we have our questions at the end of class every week, there's a lot of knowledge that comes through those questions and answers that we talk about that you know could be taught. We could have a whole lesson on some of them sometimes. And so there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to get to understand, and each one of us has an input in it. So I hope y'all, you know, will think about, I know that y'all came to this class to learn, but y'all also have stuff that you can teach others in this class. It's not just all about just sitting here in the class. Y'all too are teachers, you know, and what y'all have, you know, what you have to say is important. Just like what I had to say is important too, you know, but we're all the same. So each one of us can put our information together, and let me tell you, when all the information comes together, you can see the whole picture. So I want y'all to really think about, you know, and work on seeing the energy and looking for the signpost of the energy, because there's a lot of signs that spirit will show you that you're going in the right direction. And it's amazing how spirit works. Because when you start seeing these little signs, you just know you're on the proper path, and you keep going forward in that path with a smile on your face, even if it's hard, because you know you're going in the proper direction. So I know this lesson wasn't, you know, really as strong as the other lessons have been, but it's a big lesson about energy and realizing, you know, everything is made up of energy. When you sit, if you're an empath, and a lot of people don't know what an empath is, but it's a sensitive person that can pick up on other people's energy. And some people don't even know that they're empaths. But you can sit in a chair where another person has sat, and if they are in a bad mood, you will pick that energy up, and before you get up out of that chair, you'll be not in a good mood, and you'll be going, why do I feel like this? I was in such a happy mood. And a lot of people do this from going in and eating at restaurants and stuff too. Uh, and you come out and you're angry or you don't feel good. Well, there's a big reason for all of that, you know, and you have to pay attention to that, you know, because whoever's cooking your food, I'm going to give this as an example too. Whoever's cooking your food back there in the kitchen, if they're angry because they're having a bad day, they're putting that anger into your food when they're flopping it on the grill. Or let's say it gets burnt, or they burnt somebody else's food and they got hollered at by their employee, then your food's going to get all that energy put into it, you know, unless they're conscious about putting love into the food. So when it comes out to your table, guess what you're ingesting and putting in your mouth is you're putting in this energy. It's very important to pay attention to the things that you do. So I don't eat out very often because I am a very sensitive empath, and I pick up on a lot of things. But you can pick up energy just walking through a store. So I guess my point is, when you start realizing and getting more balanced in your authentic self, you will be feeling these energies too, and you'll be wondering, why do I feel like this? And you'll start realizing this isn't my energy. And when you realize it's not your energy, you can release it off of you a lot quicker. But the most important of it is to realize it's not your energy. It took me forever to learn that when I sat down in a chair that somebody else had sat down, and I got up and I wasn't feeling well, it took me forever to learn that that wasn't my energy, so that I could shake it off of me and get it off of me. And so I carried it around, you know, until I went home and smudged myself. And then I used to carry smudge in my car, you know, because the minute I got out of the store somewhere, I was reaching in my glove box for some smudge so I could smudge myself. I still have smudge in my car. Uh, and I had some friends one time. We had went into Walmart, and I think Walmart is a very hard place for me to go into because there's a lot of emotional stuff in Walmart. It feels like I'm wading through waist deep in mud trying to get down the aisle. So I try not to go to Walmart very often. But I was with some friends one day, and they wanted to go to Walmart, so we went to Walmart. But as soon as I come out, I reached in my glove box and I did my prayers and lit my sage, and I was standing outside my car, smudging myself. And they were so embarrassed. They were going, "What are you doing? All these people are staring at you." And so this is part of the stuff that, I'm trying to share with y'all today. People react to different things, and people will judge you before they even realize that they're bringing a judgment out of their mouth because we've been conditioned that way. So my point with them was, look, I know what I just come out of, and I'm clearing it off of me. And it doesn't matter how these people feel. This is about my authentic self needs to be cleaned right now, and I'm going to clean myself off. and and so I do it, but also it will bring people up to you to ask you, what are you doing? And it opens up a line of communication where you can say, I'm a spiritual person, and then this is the way that I do prayers and clear myself. And it opens up more questions, and before you know it, you have somebody that wants to learn from you. Or either you have somebody from the church saying, you're not walking a good path, because that's happened to me before too. So it's quite funny the things that you can encounter when you're trying to be your authentic self. But don't allow somebody else to tell you that you can't be who you are. It took me a long time to get to my authentic self, and I'm still working to anchor myself in that, because sometimes my authentic self still wants to hide. And I'm just not, that's part of the priorities I have made for my own self, that I'm not going to allow my authentic self to hide anymore, because I shouldn't be ashamed of who I am. This is me, and I'm okay with me. And I love myself, not to the point where it's vain, but I deserve to love myself, and I'm okay with myself. Instead of hiding, because I don't want nobody to know, oh, I'm not feeling good, I'm gonna go hide over here. You can't see the true me. There's no need to hide it anymore. And so that's where I'm at in my learning, is not hide my authentic self anymore, and to be okay with it, and to be okay with what it brings. And so far it has brought me lots of joy and happiness. Within my family unit, it has caused a little bit of confirmation about codependency, because while you're learning all of this, you can also give too much of yourself where other people depend on you, to the point that it becomes codependency, which I was very, very much like that, because I took loving unconditionally a step too far, which you can do, which can create all these obstacles that you have to go through. So it's a very fine line of balance. that you have to learn within inside yourself, your authentic self. It's really not for anybody else, because your balance is going to be different than somebody else's balance. You will know what you can tolerate, where another person might not tolerate that as well as you do. So it's a quite interesting adventure that we're on in this life, of learning how to be, a hollow bone for Creator, and allow Creator to work through you, and for you to become your authentic self, so that you can do the work of spirit without it being, egoic. You don't have to be paid to do this. There's nothing, no type of money could even touch what Creator wants to bring and give to us. And if you do what Creator says, He's going to give you everything you need, without you having to say, hey, this is going to cost you this much amount of money to do. You don't have to do that. Because Creator gives you everything you need. And He really does. And if you want to test it out, because He'll give you all your needs, not your wants. Okay, there's a difference between wants, but He'll give you what you need. And all you need is a roof over your head, some food, a warm place to sleep, and maybe a vehicle to get around in, but your needs will be met, and Creator will do that for you. But the more you walk in Creator's light, you're worthy of everything, and He does not want you to suffer either. So once you start doing that, everything's going to fall in line, and all your needs are going to be met, and beautiful things are going to come through to you. And guess what? That's when you have to be very cautious, because the trickster will like to come in too, and see if you're really paying attention, because then you can become vain, and say, oh, look at me, look how far I've come. So you have to, like I said, it's a very fine line that you walk, and you have to walk it in balance and understand, there's no ego in this. You need to stay in a balance of spirit, and let your male energy dance with you in the dance of life, but not have control over you. And that's a big thing. And that's how I'm going to end the lesson. And I'm sure there'll be some of y'all that will want another lesson about the ego and the feminine self, learning how to dance the dance of life, together without fighting, and coming off balance. And we will discuss that on another lesson. But that's how I'm going to end this today. And I'd like to hear back from y'all through the questions, or just a comment that y'all might want to share on what y'all have learned, while you're on this journey of learning your authentic self, about your authentic self, and how you feel you're achieving it, because it could help one of us. And that's my love for y'all today. So if any of y'all want to come on and have a little talk and say how y'all feel, let's do it.
I'll say something as usual. What I've noticed through these classes and your teachings is the ability to step back a little bit and wonder why. So what I've been noticing, and I don't know if it's the two wolves, but whenever I'm stinking thinking, or making a bad decision, I get anxiety. and it's like you're going to step into traffic, or you're shoplifting, and you get that nervous feeling. And I've started to evaluate that. It's like, well, because I know that creator is love, and I'm not going to get that feeling if I was doing that was something in alignment with creator. So then I start examining myself, and it's usually something in my ego thinking things should be done or said or acted out in a certain way, whereas I'm not giving people the freedom to live and express themselves the way that creator wants them to, right? I'm thinking, well, it should be done this way and this way. And it's like, that's not up to me. That's like saying creator doesn't know what he, she is doing. So it's just an observation that I've been picking up on myself. Whenever I get that feeling, it's like, why am I getting this feeling? Well, this is my ego, and it's wanting this and it's wanting that. And it's like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to feed that wolf. So I want to thank you for that, Shaolin.
Well, see that's really good, because Rodney does showing how much you're growing, and you should be very proud of yourself, because it's showing how far you're coming in what you're learning for yourself, and you're really looking at yourself. And guess what? One of the biggest things is when you stay in the present moment, in spirit, one of the biggest things that I've noticed for myself that causes me anxiety is when you're looking into the future. You know, we can't see what's going to happen in the future. But we know, the future's coming, because we're going to have another day. Hopefully, Creator will give us another day to walk upon the earth. But because we don't know what's happening, it can cause us to have anxiety. I call that the what ifs. But also, if you go backwards into the past, that can cause you anxiety too, because it can show that you're not moving forward because you're afraid of going forward, because you don't know. It's easier to stay in the past where you know what's already happened, because you can maneuver through it, than going forward into something that's unknown to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, very much so. If we live in the past, it's a memory, and we live in the future, it's our imagination. So we got to live in the present. And
Yes.
there's been times where stuff's gone down, and I've started freaking out, and my guides have stopped me. They says, Rodney, they say, look around you. What has changed? I said, the only thing that's changed is up here. I said, stop it. Stop this thinking. It is like, you're right. Nothing has changed. I'm still, everything is fine. But my mind starts doing somersaults and stuff. So
Yeah, it's like we're trying to catch ourselves before we fall, but we're not going to fall. That's just it. We're not going to fall unless we choose not to move forward, and we get stuck in that energy pattern. And the more you become, aware of that, the easier it'll be, and that anxiety will become lesser for you.
you touched on something about competing, and I want to read a little bit from Mad Bear, just a short paragraph. He says, I also realized that there was one main principle, one paramount rule basic to the continuing survival of humankind, basic even perhaps to the continuation of a living planet. Do not be competitive. Do not compete for survival. Compete, combat, and die. Cooperate, cultivate, and live.
That's actually that's good.
I thought so too. Because we're all competitive. People, be happy for what your friend has. Don't try and one up them.
Well, yes, but see, we've been trained from the very minute we started school. They started that pattern in us that we had to compete to be the winner or the loser. Even the games we played, from dodgeball to football, all that competition, spelling bees, you know, there was always either you were the winner or you were the loser. So that has been programmed in us. But what really truly is we are all winners. Every single one of us are winners. And I tell everybody, we are the victors, not the victim,
Mhm.
because we are. Does anybody else have anything to share?
Hi,
Okay. Oh, okay, Sherry. Leo, you can be after Sherry.
Okay. I feel that the creator, the universe prepares us for things that are going to come onto our path. And I was listening to a podcast, and it was a very short podcast, but it had a speaker on there that talked about the hollow bone. And so then I got to know what all that was and hear about that before meeting Rodney and meeting you and starting these classes. And I'm very thankful for your classes. And I believe that, you know, creator has a lot of, I say universe a lot of times, the creator has a lot of intelligence. And being an empath, I know that things aren't put on my path without a reason. And recently there's a puppy was put on my path. And a lot of people have opinions about that, like, oh, you may be taking on too much. Do you think that's wise? Which are good questions. But I've seen such a beautiful thing happen. My son and daughter have been having challenges, and I'm just seeing them opening up, and in so many ways that I wasn't thinking was possible, just because I was giving energy to something else. And it's just a beautiful thing to be able to witness and express, and it takes time and energy too, but it's been a beautiful growth process. And I just wanted to introduce you to someone. She is named after you. Shaha Winnie. Her name is Winnie.
Let me see there. Oh, oh, precious, precious, precious.
She's 6 weeks.
Well, that's awesome. So what are the changes have you seen in the two kids? Since you have another child now that you have to take care of, because the baby is a child.
Yeah, it's different energy that has entered the room. And when you were talking about energy, I noticed, like, in the animals it's different, in the children in the young adults it's different. And what I've noticed is that they're more giving. Like, my son is talking more, and he's more giving of his time. And my daughter's been more curious and more reaching out to me more. So those things have been very good. So, and it may seem like little things, but these are things that I've been, you know, hoping for and praying for and holding space for. And so
I think that's wonderful, and you never know, spirit could have put that puppy in your space to be a service animal for both of your kids, so that they would have something more to love, you know, and put their energy towards, you know. So you never know. That's amazing.
yeah, I see, like, my son, he's a loving person, but I don't feel like he's been doing that for himself. So he's doing it for the puppy because he watches her while I'm at work.
Yes, but it's gave him a responsibility that he feels that he can achieve. So that's going to turn out to be something really good.
Yeah, I'm so happy. it's such a blessing. Like, yes, thank you so much.
That is that's amazing. And I'm gonna really think about this puppy thing because a little puppy showed up on my daughter's doorstep about a week ago. And he's the cutest little puppy, but of course she doesn't need a puppy, but I think that puppy's gonna end up being there. And she was asking the same thing. Well, she was asking Creator, what is it about this puppy showing up that I need to pay attention to? And I think you just gave me the answer.
No.
Due to your puppy situation. So see, it really all connects. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, I don't have an animal that I've never went to adopt an animal or bought an animal. They've always come to me. They've
Well,
always my path.
there's always a reason when an animal comes to you, because an animal is part of the connection to Mother Earth and Father Sky and stuff. And so from what you're sharing is opening up your son where he's speaking more, so it's getting him out of that closed off space that he was in, that he had shut himself in, and it could be really gonna share a difference with your daughter too when she starts getting a little bit more involved. Animals can do some very amazing things. I'm glad you shared that. That's awesome.
I definitely feel energy shifting, and
I'm glad because I've been doing a lot of prayers for you and your family, so that makes me happy. It really does. Okay, Leo, are you ready?
Yes, you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, just in line with your session today, is kind of I have my own take that I've learned through the years and this kind of confirms it all. Is that I believe it is so important to be yourself, and to a person to be themselves and kind of to be a quiet rebel. You don't have to do what other people want you to do. You are free to be yourself, and of course to do all this, with balance. Others, like a bunch of sheep jumping off a cliff, they'll lead you off the cliff every day, every time. It's so important for people to think for themselves. So, but anyway, that's kind of my take on this. And the other thing is in my process of learning, of course, Shah, when I talked about this property that the foundation has, and it's so it's so hard to fight off some things. Like, I've done some work up there, and I haven't done everything perfect, and it's easy to feel guilty about this or that, but it's a learning process. It's just like cutting down trees or damaging the earth, or not getting approval from all these nature things. Is to do it the right way is so important, but it's been a big learning process. That was me then, and that's not me now. As I do things now, I do things differently. So it's been such a blessing. So anyway, that's all I have for today.
That was good, Leo. I'm proud of you. And one of the things Leo's talking about is when he started on the property, you know, he just started cutting down trees and stuff like that. And so I shared with him, the proper way to ask the standing trees and Mother Earth, by praying which ones wanted to give their lives for the part of where we were going to build at on the property. And so it is a learning process, because they have life too. So they have a right to live just like we do. We don't have the right just to go cut them down without saying a prayer for them or asking if they will give their energy to this purpose. And a lot of people still have to learn that process. But Leo's right. It's a learning process, so you can't beat yourself up about it. If you didn't know about it, why beat yourself up about it? It's not that you did anything wrong. It is a learning process. And when you start coming into balance and everything, that process will be given to you so that you can stay in balance with all things. Pam, how are you doing today?
Oh, I am wonderfully grateful
Did
today.
everybody get moved out?
Yes, yes.
So how's it been for you in this quietness that you're experiencing?
Well, I've been very busy trying to clean up some things, and get organized around the house, But I find I am so grateful. I went back in my notes last night and I was looking at from the time that I began with you till now. And I thought, oh my goodness, what has changed? What has wonderfully taken place, I mean, wow, my son has moved from one position to another, and he's just moving right up in the business, and he's proven himself as being a compassionate, caring man. Even my daughter-in-law, who's had a lot of problems, the person who is causing her so much trouble at work also was fired, and then my sons, they're going to fire the girl that has so much problems there and put him in the supervisor position. And it's like, I'm like awesomely surprised. And it goes back to my dream where I had the dream where the tree fell. And when the tree fell, the eagle came and landed on my son and chose him. And I just think that it's just been just great. And I am totally readjusting, but it's been really good to let go. Man, I have held on so tight for so long to those children's and to the problems and to the things that were happening. And when I started to let go, then I began to see improvements, I let the spirit do it, and I stopped putting my fingers in there all the time. And when I did that, it's like, wow. All I needed to do was pray and spend time in meditation and as much as I could, and just loving and supporting. And I didn't have to tell anybody what to do anymore. Because, when you got teenagers, like preteens in the house and stuff, you've got to put them on a schedule. You've got to make them work. You've got to make them do, responsibilities and keep them on track, and I am so relieved not to have to do that.
Yeah. So how's your husband doing this with it being quiet in the house? How has he been changing?
He loves it. I mean, I'll tell you what, he just says, I'm so glad to walk out of my bedroom and not have to step on something, because the kids, we had the little baby here, the 3-year-old, every night, all night long and every morning. And now she is gone. I mean, she's a little one and she would get toys out and leave them on the floor. And, and I mean, it was very dangerous for 2 older people, but but he is very much improved. He's much lighter in his attitude, and he's talking to me more. And you know, he's looking forward to times and things that we can do together. And it's a really big, it's a miracle. I am so grateful. I mean, everything just started falling into place. They have this wonderful big old house. I went over there to sit with them the other day, and because both of them were working, and those kids were running all over the place, shooting each other with Nerf guns, you know, and they were having a ball. And here it would have been too tight, you know, and there would be no room for it. And they would have been yelled at and told, you know, settle down. We can't take this kind of commotion in the house. And they were having a ball. And I was so happy to see them really responding to the changes that are happening. You know, I'm really, really, really grateful. I'm grateful for you, Shaw and Win, too, because, you know, I mean, throughout this time, you've pointed out, you know, this is what you need to do, Pam. You need to let go of this. You need to do this. And I know you've been praying for me, and everyone's, you know, so, I mean, I'm just very grateful, and I'm looking forward to new things. And I know Spirit told me that things are passing away and new things are beginning, you know. So it's a time to just wait on him, and wait on the Spirit to show me, to put things in my path to what I'm supposed to do, or what I'm supposed to go from here. Maybe I'm just supposed to relax.
Yes. Yes. Yes, and then enjoy your quiet time. You know,
Yes.
because you didn't have it for a long time. You did not have quiet time for a long time. So it's okay to have quiet time for a little bit.
Oh yeah. I mean, even when I would try to pray, or spend even just a few minutes smudging and stuff, I would always get interrupted. So now when I do it, it's like, you know, a great peace, you know, is on me, and a healing of old wounds definitely is a closing of wounds, is what I feel like, you know, wounds that have been open or closing, you know, so that I can begin to, that it's, it will now turn into a scar and not an open wound. You know what I mean? That's what I feel like in my life right now, that is what's happening. So I'm excited about it. I'm
Well,
excited.
I'm very proud of you because you took off running and you set your priorities for yourself and for your son. And because you did that, this is where it led to, and you found your freedom.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm very happy for that, because I prayed a lot for you to get some relief, because you were struggling so hard. So that touches my heart really greatly.
Oh yeah. I posted on Facebook, I'm a free bird. What am I gonna do now? I'm
That's
sure I'll
really
find
good.
something to
I'm
do.
so proud. I'm so proud of you for doing that work.
Thank you.
Because it shows. It shows that you did the work. See, you
Yeah,
can't. You can't do. You can say, "Hey, I'm doing the work," out of your mouth. But through the energy and the way the energy moves and stuff is how you actually see the truth. Um, and you can tell you've done the work. So be very
yeah.
proud of that. You know, be proud of
That
that, because you did
there's
good.
Thank you. There's many times when my ego, you know, was popping up and saying, well, no, that's not right. I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to take, and I kept my mouth shut. And I thought, you know what? Maybe there's some truth in what's happening. And maybe I've been wrong. Maybe I've been wrong. And letting go of those things, and letting others decide for their life, and letting them make their choices, and not trying to push them into it, was really what I think happened. But it took a lot of humbling of my own control freak ways, you know. Thank
Well,
you, though.
you were finding your authentic self. So that's good.
Yes.
Susan, how are you doing?
Hi, everybody. I've been in and out today because we got a major plumbing disaster and the plumbers are here. It's an official shit show. I'm telling you,
bless your
what
heart.
a disaster. What a disaster. But anyway, so I caught as much as I could, but I'm so grateful for you, Shawin, and everybody here that we can get together every week and learn and talk. I've been in recovery for a long, long time, and I just couldn't get the energy stuff, you know? I just couldn't get, I mean, I understood releasing and accepting, and, you know, I understood all of that. I could get that. I just couldn't get the energy stuff. But when you talk today about we can't just hang on to people and suck the life out of them, you know? I mean, I gotta stay in my canoe and hang on to my oars, not grab all the trees and all the rocks and all the people and everything going down the river. I mean, and then I figured out, oh, that's an energy thing.
Yeah.
But I really couldn't get it. There were many times in my life I was trying to help people that really didn't want help. I mean, they didn't want to do anything, you know. I remember many, many years ago thinking to myself, helping people get sober, in all kinds of recovery. I mean, you know, how long you gonna stay sober on someone else's prayers, you know? Or, you know, it's like other people praying for you and trying to help you and is good and everything. But that's only one part of the equation. It's only one half of it. And so if there isn't full participation on both sides, there's no energy.
That's correct.
It's just a burnout, you know? And so I've been able to not only get it the way you explain it, but apply it to my daily life, you know? And because I was always in that canoe, grabbing everything, going down the river, hanging on to everything. And I remember saying, you might as well just get out and stand there, you dumbass, you know? I just couldn't figure out why you know, and it's like, you can't ride a dead horse, you know? I mean, and I would just, so life is free flowing today. And I understand the energy part, even with my husband, you know, I can't be, you talked about accepting people right where they're at, you know, with their best thinking. And I mean, that helped me a lot. It saves me from many resentments and my ego. Well, that person doesn't care about me. Or that person isn't acting very loving. Or, you know, that person isn't doing what I think they should be doing, you know, like I think they should be calling me, or they should, you know, be doing this or that for me. Hell, everybody's flying by the seat of their pants, and they're just trying to make it moment to moment, you know? I mean, I've forgotten things that I wish I hadn't have forgotten, but I did forget them, you know? Excuse the background noise here.
It's okay.
But I'm so grateful that I can, that is energy. I mean, you know, but I just couldn't get the energy thing. That's an expectation. Like, I can manage other people's energy. I have all I can do to manage my own, you know? And I never knew that I was an empath probably till about 4 or 5 years ago. There were indications of it, but I didn't know what it was. And now in hindsight, I know what it was. I remember being in nursing school. Oh, I wanted to be a surgical nurse. Oh, the sun was going to rise and shine. I was going to be a surgical nurse. Oh my God. I get in the operating room and I got the suction machine for the blood and everything. And they did this leg amputation, and it's done with a regular skill saw. And the minute they got the skill saw out, right through the leg, I was on the floor. I mean, it was like, I felt that. I was on the floor. So that was a bummer. They threw my ass out. That wasn't going to work, okay? So then they send me over to pediatrics or whatever it is. And I'm there with my first circumcision. I'm standing beside the doctor holding the sutures. And they put the clamp on and I'm sweating and I'm sweating. And they slam the clamp down. Boom, I'm on the floor holding the sutures, So this isn't going to work. It's just not going to work. I got problems, The nurse is a casualty. She's not even useful, But I didn't know what it was called or what it was, that I can feel other people.
Right.
That's not the right way to say it. I can feel other people.
Empath. You're an empath.
Yeah, it's not that I feel other people. I can feel what they feel.
Yes.
I don't know what that's called. You got to watch how they say that, because that can turn out pretty weird, But and it's only about 4 or 5 years that I learned that that's, And I mean, I ended up doing well in nursing, but I worked in medical surgical, but it helped me. I worked in orthopedics, and it helped me a great deal with traction and broken bones and learning to move slowly and everything. It did help me, but now I understand the energy, how you pick it up. I can't always control it, but I'm better at controlling it now. And you said you go to a restaurant and eat some food and the cook is bent out of shape and everything. And then you wonder why you get shitty food,
Right.
But I'm really, really grateful because, I'm grateful for your teachings and all the people here. I mean, I don't think I've had anybody that I could really, kind of say this to, like, I didn't know I was an empath, I think I was born with like my mother's feelings from the womb or something, what I mean?
That can happen.
But anyway, I can't say thank you enough. And you've talked about how we will be able to teach this and share this with others also.
Yeah.
And I think that's a wonderful thing. I don't know what kind of credentials you need, but maybe just being just a regular person,
That's correct. That's all it takes is understanding it for yourself, and becoming your authentic self is going to help you be able to show it to other people.
So I thank everybody. I'm really grateful to be here. Plumber, no plumber, shit show, dog, I don't care. I'm not missing it.
Well, look, we thank you. We thank you because laughter is good medicine too. And so you shared some enjoyment with us and caused us all to laugh today too. So I thank you for that. That's awesome.
Whoops. All right, I'm gonna muted here. Love you all.
And we love you too.
I love the
Okay.
description of being in the rowboat.
Yeah. Now, Julie, would you like to, do you have anything to say, or you don't have to, but we'd love to have some input from you if you have anything.
Miigwech, nugu migid pu jibana kalabi twajiat baktas mawat. Yeah, this has been a really interesting session. I believe in energy. I've felt energy and seen energy for a long time, even though I didn't know what it was at the time. And today I work with energy in circles, in the lodge. But there was one thing that I really wanted to touch on was earlier on in the beginning, you said something about thinking about what someone else can offer, that this group is not just for you to share. And when you said that, I had a moment of sheer terror that I would be asked to share something. And again, that comes back to ego, the ego self. I remember so clearly a conversation I had with a beautiful grandmother about ego and about when you feel lesser than, when you feel not good enough, when you feel not as good as. That's also ego, where I believe my understanding of ego had always been arrogance. Hey, look at me, I'm so great. For me, I saw that as ego. But the opposite side of the coin, the not feeling good enough, and what could I possibly have to share or offer, that is also ego. And you know, when I look at judgment, how I judge myself harshly, and you know, we're sharing teachings in the lodge, in Star Lodge ceremony, we really teach about energy and looking at self. And if you're treating yourself in a way that you would never dare treat someone else, then something needs to change. Okay? So when I'm judging someone else, I'm really judging myself. Okay? I am imposing those perceptions or those judgment on someone else. And quite honestly, just keeping track of my own ego is a full-time job. I don't have time to look at someone else, you know, like I need to be honest. It's like that ego self is present and it's there all the time. And the minute I think that I've got a handle on it, then that's a sheer sign. Hey, that's a sheer sign that, oh, no, you don't. No, you don't. So I'm really grateful for the opportunity to sit in these circles. I call it a circle, even though we're all in a little square box within a big square. I imagine it as a circle, okay, where everyone has something to offer, everyone has something to share. And when I think of expectations, for me, I've always been taught that an expectation is a premeditated resentment, because you can be sure that when you have an expectation, something isn't going to fit into that little box of yours. And yeah, it's interesting. Life is really interesting at this time. And yeah, so many things are coming through energetically, globally, universally. Yeah, it's really incredible. It's really incredible, and great shifts are happening. And for myself, I've been doing a lot of healing, a lot of ancestral healing, and things have been coming up. Yeah, things have been coming up, patterns have been coming up in my family, in my extended family. Patterns are coming up to be released, to be healed. And that's really it's really so incredible to have that awareness and to see those patterns. And I'm a very vivid dreamer. I dream in details, I dream in color, and I have lots of journals of those dreams. And those dreams are what brought me on this healing journey. Those dreams are what brought me to ceremony. Those dreams that helped me to heal myself and my family. And I do believe that if we heal ourselves, we heal our ancestral lines, and we clear the way for those future generations. And everything I do today is really about those future generations, wanting to, those young ones yet to be born, to have less and less burdens to carry. And yeah, I'm so grateful to be here. So thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to share, even though I was scared shitless.
Well, don't be scared, because, you know, we all feel that, and we feel like our voice is not strong, you know, but we are, like I said, we're worthy of everything, and each part of us plays such an important part in what is taking place on Mother Earth right now. And I'm so happy that you're here with us, and what you shared with us about your energy that you're seeing and stuff, because it really helps to hear other people talk about it too. And we're all in this together, and that's how we're going to learn, is to see that we all have the same feelings, because we're human. and and it's okay to have these feelings, but it's good when we can hear other people talk about, well, I handled this feeling this way, and I did it this way, because we're all not the same. So it's going to take hearing it from other people, because let me tell you, like you said, the ego is very tricky. It's a tricky thing. It will pop up when you're least expecting it, and it does it unconsciously. You know, your body responds unconsciously sometimes to ego's little energy. So it's I just thank you, and I appreciate you so much.
Miigwech.
And Leo, I was going to ask you, would you like to say the closing prayer? Is past time, but I have enjoyed this class. Thank you, each and every one. And remember, I won't be here for the next two classes. It'll be Elizabeth and hopefully her classes will. I wish I could watch them. I'm going to try to pop in to the class, but I don't know what I'm going to be doing in North Carolina, if I'll even have time to pop into the class, but I'm going to try to. But I love each and every single one of y'all, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. And Leo, would you like to say the closing prayer, and we'll get out of here? And I hope each and every one of y'all have a great weekend. And I love you very much.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Spirit and Lord, we thank you for this wonderful day and all the things that we learned today, and the things that have been shared by all those involved. And we ask your guidance in the week ahead to help us to learn and do your will. Amen.
Amen. Thank y'all, each and every one of you. We'll see you next time, or I'll see you in 2 weeks. But know that I will be with you if you don't see me. Love you very much.